We're back. Yeah, we're back. We're back, Suns fans. We're back to being a punchline. Back to the Phoenix Suns and their fans drowning in frustration, turning on each other, searching for a scapegoat. The anti-Booker crowd is banging their drum louder than ever. And tonight they were right. Horrible Booker game. Horrible Booker game. He was bad. The pro-Beal contingent is starting to emerge from the shadows, claiming that his absence is the root of all problems. And the KD loyalists just sit back, arms crossed, feeling vindicated as every misstep that Booker makes only amplifies Durant's brilliance. And that's the worst part of all this. The frustration that we're experiencing right now after the Suns lose again in bad fashion again is it breeds the infighting. The losing fuels an endless thirst for accountability. But here's the truth. There won't be any. Not until the season's over, when the reckoning finally arrives. That's why, just a couple games ago, I told you enjoy the wins while you can. Savor them like a perfect golf swing, because in the end, we all know how this round plays out. A double bogey is waiting. The schedule only gets harder for the Phoenix Suns, and a play-in possibility is slowly fading away. And while all that's happening, the negativity, the frustration, the infighting, the I told you so's, the people circling the camp, the KD crowd saying, we're better than Booker. The Booker crowd being like, we never said you weren't. He's the great one. The Beal camp, the Gillespie camp, play him more. I mean, it's where we're at right now, Suns fans. So welcome to the Suns Jam Session Podcast. My name is John Boyd, managing editor, Bright Side of the Sun. And I'll be rocking this one solo, little solo sesh. You, me, the chat, the live chat. If you happen to be watching along live, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. If you're watching this along live, let me know how you're feeling. Let me know in the chat. We'll go over some of the comments and just kind of get a barometer of the fan base after another poning by an opponent. So make sure you subscribe, rate, review, hit that thumbs up button. Give me a chance. Give me a chance, man. Give me a like. Give me a chance. And pray for me because I dropped this. I don't know if you can see that dent. I dropped this right before, so this motherfucker's probably going to spew all in my face. Just nice and easy. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, shit. It's not. Oh, yeah. Man, that's years of knowing how to drink beers.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session Podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.
That's right, Jamsters. A loss by the Phoenix Suns to the Minnesota Timberwolves. It drops them yet a further game below 500. They're now 35 and 38. Or I'm sorry, 35 and 39. And this is a Minnesota Timberwolves team that was this the third time we've played them this season? Or is this the fourth? 1, 2, 3. God, we still got to play them. Oh, no, this is the fourth time we've played them this season. It's the fourth time that we've lost to them. And, that kind of brings me to my own first question. When was this game over? When was it over? The Minnesota Timberwolves are no mystery. You know them, don't you? The team that mercilessly, without mercy, they swept the Suns in the playoffs last season. A team that has remained an unsolvable riddle ever since. Every encounter with them, it feels like deja vu, a reoccurring nightmare that the Suns cannot wake up from. Given the history, you'd think adjustments would have been made, that film sessions would be burned into the back of the Suns' retinas of the image of Minnesota's tactics, that the Suns would anticipate the relentless physicality, the suffocating length, the defensive gambles, the all-out blitz on Devin Booker. Surely there had to be a counter, a strategy, something to flip the script. And yet tonight, it told the same story. The Timberwolves dictated tempo, and the Suns willingly played the role of in their familiar tragedy. It's baffling. Like, even with the rotations that have led to recent success, right? Starting Colin Gillespie, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, and Ryan Dunn, and Nick Richards, and Oso Ighodaro getting playing time. Even with all those regular rotations, something remains broken. It's like a mental block they cannot shake when facing this team. And with only 8 games left in the season, this loss tightens the noose, pushing the Suns further toward an early exit that no one saw coming at the beginning of the season. There's countless reasons why this season teeters on the edge, but tonight, the failure was once again unmistakable. It's the inability to adjust. So it's like, when was this one over? This one was over when the Suns were scheduled to play the Minnesota Timberwolves. And it played out just like that. 27-21 after the first quarter. You know, you go to the first half heading into overtime, all of a sudden it's 57-45. And then they score 35 in the third, and we score 30. I mean, so they just continue to grow their lead. Lead. And the Suns just failure to adjust. Complete and utter failure to adjust. You combine that with the imposition of will that the Minnesota Timberwolves had. The fact that Julius Randle, for some reason, we are the team that he plays well against. You know, you watching the subreddit, seeing how Minnesota fans react to having Julius Randle play against the Suns. Like, oh shit, who the fuck is this guy? He's inconsistent, but against the Suns, he's consistent. And the Suns just don't have any answer for it. So, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Taking a look at the chat. Again, thanks, guys, for hanging out. Truly appreciate it. Taking a look at the chat. Suns Fever, $5 in the super chat. He says, at least it's Friday. Love you guys on the show. Amen, man. Long week over here in the Voided household. You know, sick kind of throughout the week. Past 2 days been just disconnected. You know, working, ton of stuff going on. Opening day yesterday with the Diamondbacks and the Cubs, and, you know, taking my wife and my mom to go see that. Just kind of disconnected from everything. So I haven't really been on social media and reading what's going on with the Suns and reading what's going on around the league. Taylor Jenkins got fired today. I only know that because my phone started blowing up because everybody thinks that I look like Taylor Jenkins. They're like, Voida lost his job. I'm like, what? I'm at work right now. Holy shit. How do you know? But yeah, at least it's Friday. Looking forward to the weekend. You know, Eric in the chat, it's just a disaster. Correct. John Tran, great comment here, and absolutely true. This season's been over for like 3 months already. Yeah, we've already had like 2 articles on Bright Side of the Sun declaring the season dead. You know, it's like season's over. You know, time of death, 3 p.m. You know, February 12th, and now here we are, like a month and a half later, and people are still like, time of death. It's like, no, it done been dead. It done been dead. I mean, I'm not surprised by any of this, and I think I've told you guys this in the past, but I have a lunch bet with somebody at work that the Suns won't make the playoffs. And I made this, you know, probably about 10 games ago, that they won't make the play-in. And I told him, like, I never get anything right, so that means that the Suns will make the play-in. But man, the road uphill is going to be unbelievably hard and littered with just countless obstacles. A lot of Legos. We got to step on a lot of Legos just to get into the play-in. Just to potentially play the fucking Minnesota Timberwolves. Eddie Yee, very hard for us to win when Booker or Durant has an off day. Very, very true. You know, they both have to kind of be firing for us to win. You know, we've talked about over these past few games. We've had the reason we had a 4-game success is, again, the way that the Suns played, yes, but like Booker had to go for 40 or Durant had to go for 40. And in this game, it didn't happen.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Big Dick Booker.
Horrible night for Booker. He didn't score his first points until 3:33 left in the third quarter. Ends the night 4 of 14 from the field. So a little stat padding at the back end of the game for this one to get to his 10 points. 10 points, 6 assists, 0 rebounds, 4 turnovers, 0 of 6 from beyond the arc. I mean, just a shit game from Devin Booker. And you can look at it through the lens of the Minnesota Timberwolves understand their identity and how to attack the Phoenix Suns. And their way to attack the Phoenix Suns is to attack Devin Booker. And they do that, and they do that well. They blitz him. And he picks up his dribble, he plays right into it. And time again, it leads to a turnover, it leads to a poor possession. Their physicality, their length, it takes him off his spot. I mean, that's been his challenge playing against the Timberwolves, not just this season, but if you go back last season when we played them in the playoffs, Devin Booker averaged 27.5 points, but he had what was his assist to turnover ratio? He had 11 turnovers in 4 games, okay? So, they've done a great job of containing him. And he just looked disengaged tonight, man. Disengaged, defeated. He looked defeated tonight. There's certain teams, there's certain matchups. I mean, remember when Matisse Thybulle used to give him problems? There's certain archetypes of players who just really fuck up his game. And that's why I've always said, and I'll kind of continue to say, that Booker will always have a plateau relative to how great he can be. And it's a physical plateau. Because he's not the most athletic guy on the floor. He's not going to beat you with his quickness off the dribble. Like Anthony Edwards isn't the most athletic guy on the floor, but okay, he is athletic as fuck, but he's also quick, right? And he also could shoot. Booker's a tactician. What's made him great is his technical abilities, his ability to get to a certain spot and execute that beautiful jumper. That's what makes Devin Booker lethal. But with all that being said, he's prone to being easily flustered when opponents get physical with him. And when you start to, and that, the archetype player, the Matisse Thybulle, the Jaden McDaniels, right? Like the long guys who are taller than him and are physical with him. And then when you throw 2 of those guys at him, it's a game over, man. Like that's when you have players who can play defense like that against Devin Booker, it's guaranteed to score you probably like 10 plus, give you a plus 10 throughout an entire game, because he's either going to turn the ball over and lead to an easy turnover, he's going to take a bad shot, and or you're going to force him into the wrong decision. And you've heard me say this over the past few podcasts, talking about not picking up the dribble, being decisive, passing off of the dribble. The Suns too often this year, Devin Booker especially, is somebody who picks up his dribble to pass, and when he does so, he telegraphs where it's going, and when you throw a double at him, it gets really ugly. And this was an ugly, ugly, ugly Devin Booker game. This one he'll want to forget. And again, this is one of those ones where he, like I said at the front end of the podcast, that anti-Booker crowd, they're loud, and the KD loyalists love it. Not the Suns fans, but the KD stands, because it's always like when Booker sucks, like, see, it's all, we only win when KD's great, but you need Booker to, and it's just, and I see, like, just like I said at the front end of the podcast, the pro Beal contingent is going to emerge from the shadows, and they're going to claim that his absence is the root of all problems. There's 4th and Long in the chat. How'd Beal do tonight? Beal needs to be removed from the bench. He's fucking injured. The Beal stands like, see, it's Bradley Beal, your worst defender. This, in my opinion, this is a coaching issue. If you want, because people, you have to blame somebody. Like, who's the reason for this loss? It has to be a one size fits all. It has to be, this is the reason. Beal didn't play, that's why we lost. No, in my opinion, it's always a multitude of factors. That's one of them. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, but especially Devin Booker, playing horrible because he can't play good against his team because of the way that they they attack him defensively, like Eric says in the chat. Great comment, Eric. Scouting report is out. Pressure KD and Book, and the game is over. It works because they don't run offense. ISO ball. It's not even ISO ball because, again, if you look at the isolation numbers, the Suns run, I think, the 6th least amount of isolation basketball. It appears to be ISO ball because they pick up the dribble and then the defense attacks them. What it is, it's indecisive ball, and it is they don't run an offense at times. It is the play random that Budenholzer has. And again, to me, that's what it is. It's coaching. It's lack of preparation for this exact thing. This is the 4th time you've played this team. They've played you the same way every fucking game. Same way they play you. And you just continue to you don't try to switch things up. And I'm sure they are. I'm not a super basketball technique guy. Like, I know what I'm watching. I know what I see. And I know that I see that the Suns, like, for example, one thing that they consistently do is they bring the ball up on the wings of the court against this team. And what happens when you bring the ball on the wings of the court is that's an easier opportunity to get trapped versus if you bring the ball up the middle of the court. If you bring the ball up the middle of the court, now you have 2 wings on each side to get you out of that trap. So if you see that they're starting to trap you early, have Booker bring the ball up if you want to, but don't pass it to him over on the wing where he can get trapped by 2 blitzing defenders, right? Like, don't think rocket scientists figure that out, but maybe Budenholzer can't get there. Maybe Taylor Jenkins should be the next head coach. Oh, who knows? So let's see. Let's see what else we got going on in the chat. And again, it's the infighting, right? It's the infighting. Hey.0, I swear those Beal haters piss me off. What do you mean by that? Yeah, people are saying that Beal needs to go, and I say Beal needs to go. I say that Bill needs to go. I'm not saying, but it has nothing to do with this conversation right now. The reason Bill needs to go is because he's $50 million of payroll that we could have allocated with other players who are better players who probably could, maybe do the same thing that they're doing to us, and we could do it to them because then we have long wing defenders who are good. Fourth and Log says, I'm a Beal hater. Then why do you say he needs to be removed from the bench? You say removed from the bench like he needs to be off the team. Well, I agree with that, but there's nothing we can do right now, right? We have 8 games. It's like I said, this is kind of our purgatory right now. We're all in trying to fix it mode, but at the same time, it's too late. Like, we can't fix anything until the season's done. The only thing we can fix, I still don't have a drop for him. The only thing we can fix is get Colin Gillespie a contract, man. Sign that guy. Sign Colin Gillespie. 22 points. 9 of 11 from the field, 4 or 5 from beyond the arc. He had 10 points. He's 22 and 10. And he's doing that shit in the G League on the regular. Sign that guy. Sign Colin Gillespie. Because even like his floor, I feel, is just a good quality backup point guard who's tough. He's got that Villanova coaching background behind him, national championship background behind him. He's a winner. He plays tough. He plays with grit. He's the only good thing to watch tonight. Only good thing to watch. That's right. Mark Brooks. I don't hate Beal, but he and his contract are bad for the team. Well said, Mark. I don't know why we're talking about Beal, but that's what people are talking about in the chat. So if you're listening later, like that's how people are feeling. Like after this loss, they're like, fucking Bradley Beal needs to go. It's like, yeah, we agree, but shit. There's nothing we can do. Not till the end of the season. I was talking to a friend, though, who was at the game. Last game. Was the last game? Friday night's game. Yeah, Cavs game. And then he was sitting down by Beal's family, and he's like, it was interesting to hear some of the comments made by the family. Like, Beal's family's there with the children. They're bringing him in. It's like, yeah, come on. Last time doing this. And I don't know if they meant just because that's going to be the last game they're attending this season, or is it the last game they're attending as members of the Phoenix Suns? Little things up. Phi Satellite Phones Incorporated is commenting in the chat. Gillespie, the next Steve Nash? No. I mean, he could be a really good point guard. He's not going to be a fucking Hall of Fame 2-time MVP. You're asking a lot there, guys. Why do we always want, like, give me like a Leandro Barbosa, and I'm unbelievably happy. If that's his ceiling, dude, that's a win. Boom. Hey.0. Again, we're looking for blame tonight, Jamsters, so that's what we'll do. Blame Ishbia and Bartlestein. Yes. But even then, like, I'm not overly upset because they tried, right? You look at some of these poverty franchises, they don't try. Ishbia came in. He wanted to make an impact. He wanted to win. He played 2K. Give me Kevin Durant. Give me Bradley Beal. Holy shit, dude, look what I got. He probably made that acquisition on 2K and then simulated a season. Like, holy shit, this is a 50-win team. And then it didn't work out in real life. But at least he's trying. Like, I think of having Sarver just rubbing two nickels together, trying to get a dime, just he swung and he missed. It's like I've said, maybe next time he'll stop trying to hit home runs and start hitting some doubles in the gap, get him on, get him over, get him in kind of thing. Let's see. Gillespie, maybe the next Austin Reeves. That would be amazing. Still pretty like outside of the realm of possibility, but you don't know. I mean, the guy's done amazing in the G League. Gillespie has done fantastic in the G League. And he's doing all the little things right. He's doing what I think is a nice progression to his career. He's seizing opportunity. He's the one. I mean, even Eddie Johnson was saying on the broadcast tonight, right? He's like, dude, Gillespie, the one who's hot. Just keep feeding him the ball, man. Go with the hot hand. Booker and Durant, they should like that. One of their guys is around them stepping up, take a night off, kind of, And it felt like they took a night off. That's what's unfortunate.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
23 points for Kevin Durant tonight. Took him 19 field goal attempts to get there. He was 7 of 19 from the field. He had 3 made three-pointers on 6 attempts. Had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 4 turnovers. Not a horrible night by Kevin Durant, but again, people around him need to help support him. He can't go for 40 every night. I mean, he probably could, but that's not how you win. Or that's not how you should win, or that's not how this team should win. Yeah, let's just lean on Kevin Durant every night, man. Every good team we play, we got to lean on Kevin Durant. No, he did his part tonight. Could he have been a little bit more efficient? Sure, but I'm not bitching about it. But he needs Devin Booker to step up next to him. He needs Devin Booker to have more than 10 fucking points next to him. Colin Gillespie stepped up, 22 points. Royce O'Neal stepped up, 21 points. Nick Richards was a bonehead tonight. 3 points. Fouling, just left and right. So, Katie, not an overly efficient night, but not something I'm frustrated with. It's if you're blaming this game, you blame it on the coaching and not being prepared for what they were going to do defensively. For Devin Booker not being prepared for what they were going to do defensively because they do it to him every time they play him. And that's it. That's if you have to blame. That's how you do. 4th and long. Tank for Caleb Love. Caleb Love's nice, man. I don't know if he's big enough. In fact, I want to get this thing over here quick because I want to go watch that Auburn-Michigan game. Imagine if we had Dunn or Kamara as our defenders. That is an imaginable thing because, again, if you draft Kamara, do you draft Dunn? I mean, if you draft Kamara, where do we end last year? How does our draft look? Does this team still think that they need a duplicative player because Dunn is like Kamara, right? Kamara's a better version of Dunn, in my opinion, obviously, even though he was drafted 52nd overall and Dunn was drafted 28th overall. So, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. How do we feel about Grayson? So Grayson tonight, 12 minutes played, 1 shot, 1 3, 1 make, 3 points, 2 rebounds. I mean, that just tells me that this is a team that is in the process of just trying to get him back into playing shape after missing some time. I like Grayson Allen. I like having him and Royce O'Neal at our disposal because if they're both kind of playing right, it's good to have that option coming off the bench. You need that offensive firepower, right? They're filling the role that Eric Gordon was meant to fill on last year's team. dude, just come in, be the fireballer, give us a little bit of defense, but you're our fireballer. And Royce O'Neal filled that role tonight, right? Royce O'Neal, 7 of 12 from the field, all from beyond the arc, 21 points, had a couple rebounds, had a couple assists. You need that fireballer, and it's good to have 2 of them at your disposal, 1 for injury purposes, and 2, and we've seen it happen on occasion when they both kind of play and they both kind of come in, they both are fireballers, and that's just, it gives you that added offense. You know, the balance of a roster is so delicate between offensive players, defensive players, all around guys, the 3-and-D guys, right? You know, you need both Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen to have a little bit more D. They've got the 3, they need to have a little bit more D. That's the challenge with them, right? You know, you need to have size, you need to have rebounding, you need to have all these ancillary players as backups while also having those sprinkled throughout your starting lineup. And that's the challenge with just constructing a team. And then amongst all that, the skill sets that I just mentioned, the most important of all is chemistry, understanding each other, understanding where each other are going to be on the court, how you play together, strengths, weaknesses, personalities. I mean, that's why this is tough. That's why it's more than just putting, Bradley Beal's good and Kevin Durant's good and Devin Booker's good. We're going to win the fucking championship, you know. Yeah, John Tran, he's like, I just wish Royce O'Neal and Grayson to have like 2 to 3 more inches in height. 100%. I wish those guys were all like 6'8". You know, that's what's always been crazy about like New Orleans, right? Like New Orleans has a team just full of like 6'8" wing defenders. But that team, their health has been unbelievably poor with Zion and Brandon Ingram, who they traded, and, you know, everything that they've kind of come across, DeJounte Murray being out for the season. But that's kind of what you want, right? That's what Boston's kind of built like. You know, that's what Oklahoma City has, is just a bunch of like 6'8" wing, 3-and-D wing guys who just play with high energy all the time. And that's something that the Suns definitely at this point in time don't consistently have. We have a bunch of guys, but I mean, we are a franchise that has always been small. Like in the chat right now, I'm going to ask you a question. I want to hear some of the answers. In the chat right now, tell me, who is the greatest center in the history of the Phoenix Suns? Think back. Think back on the 57-year history of the Phoenix Suns. 57 years. Years that started in 1968 when Lou Alcindor came into the league, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that went through, you know, the back end of Wilt Chamberlain's career, where we've seen Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaq, Dwight Howard, Pau Gasol. Who's the best center we've ever had? And I'm not saying somebody who had the best career as a center. Who was the best center we had on our roster? You know, John Tran says Shaq. And it's like old Shaq, right? That's like post-Miami Heat Shaq. Suns Fever, 83. Adams. Alvin Adams, who played, 10, 13 years, something like that. His best year ever was his rookie season. Every year, his stats got worse. Undersized. Even the fact that he's even mentioned as our best center just goes to show you that we are always an undersized organization. Mark Brooks, Mark West, he says. Shaq was better, but was ineffective here. Yeah, Mark West was one of our best centers, undersized. He wasn't a 7'1", 7'2" beast. He was big, he was wide, but he wasn't tall. He didn't possess the length and the size. Fourth and long, Fat Shaq. Juan Carlos Arenado, Stephen Hunter, ironic. You know? Eric has a realization. We've never had a great center. Luke Longley, John Tran, Luke Longley, yeah. You know? It's funny that none of you said Ayton, because in my opinion, it's probably DeAndre Ayton. And that alone says something unto itself, does it not? We are historically a team that's undersized. Who can tell me? You know, we'll do a trivia time. I'm playing here with you guys. And I'm here all alone. So, and you can't look this up. I just want to see, like, fastest person wins this one without looking it up.
You know what time it is.
Trivia time.
Who is the all-time leader in rebounds per game in a season for the Phoenix Suns? Now, I don't know the number. I think it's like 12 point something or 13 point something, which unto itself is one of the lowest numbers in the NBA. It's something I definitely wrote an article about a summer or two ago talking about this very subject. Eddie Yee says Charles Barkley. Incorrect. John Tran also says Charles Barkley. Incorrect. Going back to the previous, who's our best center? Eddie Yee says Amari when he played there. I'm like, I disagree. He was great, but no. He's great as a power forward. Suns Fever says Oliver Miller. No. Juan Carlos Arenado. No. Fourth and Lawn says Marion. No. Sean Marion from John Tran. Seth Logan says Sean Marion. No, no, no. It's Paul Silas in like 1971. Like 3 years into the organization existing, he grabbed like 12.9 or 13.1, somewhere like that. And that's our mark. It stood for 50 years. That's our highest rebounds per game. We are not a big team. We never have been. And look at this team. Devin Booker's a small shooting guard. He's 6'5", right? He's a 6'5". That's not bad, but it's not great. It's not length. But it's average. I'll take it as average. That's why we kind of like Ryan Dunn. Ryan Dunn's what, 6'7", I think. Let's pop over to his basketball reference page real quick and see what it says. Although so they say 6'6". That's small. See, he's smaller than I even thought. KD's unbelievably tall, but you wouldn't call him, big. If he played our 3, he'd be big. Oso Ighodaro, undersized. Nick Richards, 6'11", average center. Mason Plumlee, who cares? John Tran. Big people don't like the Arizona weather. Too hot, too close to the sun. Yeah, 2 of our big 3 are undersized. Exactly what Juan Carlos Arenado said. 2 of our big 3 are duplicative, and they're both undersized. And this is a roundabout way, to talk when we're talking about Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal. They're both undersized. I mean, they serve a role, but they too are undersized. So you're always at a disadvantage somewhere with this team. And John Tran does say Nurk was big. Yeah, Nurk was big. That's why one of the things I said about Nurk is there was issues we had with his game, yes, but he possessed the one thing that we've never had consistently, that size. He wasn't overly athletic, but at least we had somebody who had some size we could throw out there if we wanted to throw a wrinkle at an opposing team like tonight. The best game that we had against Minnesota this season, the one when Julius Randle pushed off Josh Okogie and hit the three-pointer on that Sunday afternoon, you remember that? Yeah, Nurk was on the team. That was the best game we played. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but it's just a fact. We're historically an undersized team. And then what hurts us is like boneheaded plays like Nick Richards. Against a team in Minnesota that has Rudy Gobert, has Julius Randle, has Naz Reid. They're big. They are the opposite of the Suns. They have size. Richards goes out, and it's not like he's getting quality fouls. He's getting like dumb loose ball. I'm going for a rebound. I'm bumping into guy fouls early. So his total minutes played was 23 minutes in this game. You need Nick Richards to play a lot more minutes in this game, effective minutes in this game, to stand any chance against Minnesota. And then there's Coach Bud. And then there's Coach Bud.
Play fast, play random, play together, play in great space. Let's go play some basketball, have some fun.
Food in Holzer. 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 Food in Holzer.
As I walk through this world, nothing can stop Mike Budenholzer. And you are my Budenholzer.
And no one can hurt you. Oh, no.
Yeah, Mike Budenholzer can stop Mike Budenholzer. That's what can happen. That's what we've learned this season. He has to pull every right lever for the remainder of the season for this team to even become a play-in team. And that's unbelievably hard. And then there's plays like today, where in the first quarter, he challenges a play where Grayson Allen goes up, looks like he blocks. I forget who he blocks. And he thinks the ball goes off of the Timberwolf player instead of Grayson Allen, because they called it out on Grayson Allen. So he challenges the play. And they admit that they got it wrong, but it was a foul on Grayson Allen, and they lose their challenge and they give up free throws. What a fucking idiot! Like, who told him to do that? And he sits on the sideline afterwards, just like swigging his water. He's like, "Oh, fuck me! Oh shit, this might be it." The Memphis Grizzlies just fired Taylor Jenkins today, out of nowhere. You would think. Again, kind of caught me off guard because a lot of people think I look like Taylor Jenkins. And they're like, "Voida, you done?" You know, like I'm in a work meeting and I just see my phone going off Twitter. And I'm like, something's going crazy. Oh shit! What the fuck did they like? You know, they trade Beal. And that's what it was. Everyone tagged me on Twitter like, "Hey, Voida, you lost your job." I mean, if they can do it, why can't we? That team is what, the 4th seed right now. They've got a few games left until the playoffs, and they're firing their coach. Now, granted, I did finally read the article on The Athletic that kind of led to this, where Taylor Jenkins, his staff last year, the majority of his assistant coaches were let go, and he had to do the letting go, and he was not happy with that. He's had kind of a rough season relative to just stability. The guys who've been appointed under him, he was kind of involved in the hiring process, but he ultimately didn't get to decide who his coaching staff was going to be. There's resentment there. The team has been playing poorly, and so they let him go. Now, what's bullshit with all this is, if you know anything about Grizzlies basketball, which I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know a ton, but they're injured all the time, and the same goes now. They've been injured all season. John Morant's played like 30 games. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been out for a big chunk of time, and he's back, but they're still not playing well. And so they just sacrificial lambed his ass. Like, you wonder if that's what if that happens, you wonder if like Matt Ishbia is on his phone. He's like, the Grizzlies just let go of Taylor Jenkins. You can do that? Like, you don't have to wait till the end of the season? You can just cut bait? Because his team has lost by a combined 45 points in the last 2 games. His team is 35-39, and they're the 11th seed in the Western Conference. A lot of it's his doing, right? Roster construction, poor decisions on putting this together. And again, I think it's Beal. Like, Beal's the number one bonehead move, and I'll die on that hill. Because I think a lot of these ancillary pieces that we've picked up are quality pieces, and we've seen that over this past 2-week run. But we're clearly, we can, what we've shown over these past 2 weeks is we can be a good basketball team. A good basketball team. Not a great one. We saw Boston. That's a great basketball team. Minnesota has times when they could play great. The Suns, not consistently. And I think that, I wonder, I don't speculate, I wonder what they're going to do next year. Are they going to keep Bud? Do they go after a Taylor Jenkins? Do they go after a Sam Cassell? Do they press reset? Do they try to trade Beal? Please, dear God. Please, dear God. Just trade Bradley Beal. Just get him out of my life. Get him off my team. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure. And with 8 games left to go, this is where we're all at. We're wondering what's going to happen. And in all honesty, in my opinion, it can't come soon enough. And I know for you Suns fans, it can't come soon enough either. Because we're tired. Like, we're just tired of this. Just consistently. It's one thing if you are the Bulls, and you feel like you're building something, you just came short, some injuries took you out. Nah, it's not the reason for the Suns this year. Not for the reason for the Suns this year.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right, let's see what they were saying in Minnesota tonight. Obviously a team and a fan base that's feeling themselves, because this is 8 in a row if you include the playoffs last year against playing the Suns. So here's what they had to say on the Minnesota Timberwolves subreddit. Not saying this because we've started well. For what it's worth, I think the Suns are very talented, but I generally feel confident when we match up against them. And why shouldn't we? It's a great statement. Wow, 28 points per game against the Suns. Randall really amazes me that the random teams he just absolutely dominates. And yeah, he did that again tonight. Julius Randle, 25 points, 9 of 15 shooting, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. He had 8 assists. He had 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block shot. That's a hell of a fucking stat line for him. At our expense, again, the Suns are free eats every time. Nick Richards really be fouling brain dead. The Sun, this next is like a continual comment in the opposing subreddit, because again, people hear about the Suns, but they don't pay attention to us. Like, I don't pay attention to Minnesota. So when the team comes to town and you see them, you have that realization. And this one is the realization that people consistently have when they watch the Suns. Oh, the Suns are so bad. Then, of course, there's the play where Kevin Durant elbowed Anthony Edwards in the face. Edwards exited. He did return, and in the second half, he looked just fine because he scored 17 points in the second half alone. Ended the evening with a total of 20 points. And, I mean, just, again, loves playing the Phoenix Suns. But somebody said, Durant must have one bony elbow. This is a great comment. This goes into the season Hall of Fame. Grayson Allen looks like if the Pillsbury Doughboy pretended to be George Clooney for Halloween. That's a great fucking comment. I can see it. I hope to someday enjoy something in my life as much as the Minnesota Timberwolves enjoy smacking the Phoenix Suns around. Devin Booker is dog shit. Booker looks like he's a random fan out there trying to play a man's game. Looks like he barely knows how to play and has zero confidence. Booker in Guantanamo Bay right now. Oh, this one's so funny. My wife was sitting next to me. I read it out loud to her. I go, you want to hear what people are saying about the Suns? She's like, what? I am fucking erect. It would be pretty cool if we could play the Suns in the first round. One might think it would get old watching the Wolves beat down the Suns, but it really doesn't. And the last comment, nothing epic here, but Booker getting bullied.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right, I'll pop in the chat one more time, see what you guys are saying, and respond to it before I go into Jamstar and then go watch that college basketball game. Seth Logan Hopkins. James Jones has an archetype. Long 3-and-D players like him. But when restrained by owner decisions, it's rough. Yes, I can see that. I mean, he loves Torrey Craig. He loves him some Torrey Craig, right? Who, by the way, hit like the last three-pointer, like the 24th three-pointer, whatever, for the Boston Celtics the other night that got them to 132. Just Torrey fucking Craig. I'm trying to think of other transactions where he's acquired those kind of players, though. Pre-Ishbia, because he acquired Torrey Craig twice. But did he acquire any other big, long 3-and-Ds? Oh, I mean, I guess he was part of drafting Mikal Bridges and then did draft Cam Johnson. But I'm not 100% sure if that's somebody like he likes to acquire via trade. Hey.0, I've been advocating for Sam Cassell only if we rebuild. I'm advocating for Sam Cassell, period. Young coach, players coach. If you can hold on to Kevin Durant and you build around Durant and Book and Beal's gone, I feel like that's the one thing we haven't tried yet, right? It's sad we have to do this. Monty Williams, yes, was a players coach, I feel, but the relationships were so fractured in that locker room that you had to move on. And at the time we moved on from him, the relationships that were fractured, one of those was DeAndre Ayton's, and he was still on the team, right? Jay Crowder, that was the season. No, yeah, Jay Crowder was gone because we traded him to get Kevin Durant. But then we went Vogel. We went defensive coach. We went offensive coach. Maybe we need like a young players coach, kind of like the JJ Redick, Seth Logan Hopkins. I don't have hate for JJ James Jones. Track record is so, but that's how it goes. Yeah, you win some, you lose some. And one thing, and this might change, but one thing I've heard less of this season is the people who beat the drum of that James Jones is just a horrible general manager. And some might say, well, it's because, he lets Medish tell him what to do. Others will point out his what he's done incorrectly in building this roster in the past. But I think that he's done a pretty damn good job since he's been here. In all honesty, we had Ryan McDonough before, and we just kept swinging and missing on draft pick after fucking draft pick. Since James Jones came here, he's hit on almost every pick. He wasn't completely in charge when Ayton was drafted, but the draft after that was like Cam Johnson. Yes, he missed on Tyrese Halliburton and Devin Vassell when he chose Jalen Smith. Then we didn't have picks for a bunch of years, but like Ryan Dunn, Oso Ighodaro, I've liked that. And he's been part of these unbelievably big blockbuster deals. Now, if he's the guy ultimately who's responsible for them, that remains to be seen, but his name is attached to them and they are on his resume for what it's worth. Let's see. Just play the game, says John Tran. I think we all know they're not making the play-in. I agree. Develop the guys who are going to stay. I agree with that too. Edwards probably loved the elbow because it was from his hero. Juan Carlos Arenado. Our defense is so bad that we make any opposing player with offensive attributes look better. In this case, Julius Randle. Yeah, it's over and over again. It's over and over again. Jones' actual archetype, says Mark Brooks, is to draft the oldest rookies. Yeah, that's correct. He doesn't like development. He likes experience. I mean, Tamani Kamara, man, that guy was a fifth-year guy out of Dayton. So, all right, let's rock some jiggity jam stab.
Jam star of the game.
All right, Jamsters, as a reminder, subscribe, rate, review. Hit the thumbs up button if you happen to be on YouTube. And if you happen to be on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. That is, you go to Apple Podcasts, you click on 5 stars, and then you write a review about what you've witnessed here today. And I don't have any new reviews to read, because if you write a review, I will read it. If you haven't done so yet and you don't know what to write, just be like, John looks like somebody who picks his nose and then eats his boogers. Yeah, put that in the reviews. Some people who are reading are like, should I follow this podcast? And they see that review, they're like, I don't know how you would determine that from listening to this podcast, but I'm going to, say sounds like. John sounds like somebody who picks his nose and eats his boogers. And maybe that'll get a few more people to come and join the Jamster Nation. God, we only have 8 more of these things to do because we're not making the plan. We only have 8 more of these things to do this season, man. Like, I don't know if I'm happy or sad about that. You get in such a rhythm of doing these things, right? And then all of a sudden, it's just like, I will say, for those of you who are longtime listeners, generally in the off season, I pick a video game and I play it, and especially in Arizona in the summers. I don't like going outside and doing much because, 42. I just downloaded the new Assassin's Creed, and I will definitely be getting into that. All right, so let's see who you guys give the Jam Star to. John Tran says Jamstar, probably Colin Gillespie. I don't disagree. I think that's probably who I'm going to go with, man. The guy had an outstanding fucking game. Juan Carlos Arenado, the non-vomiting player of the match, Colin Gillespie. Seth says Jamstar is this show. The notification came on when my delayed game was at halftime. Save me some time. You're welcome, my friend. It didn't get any better. Suns Fever, I'm so sad about that. Well, don't be. I will say the one thing is, we still do podcasts weekly throughout the entire offseason for the most part. Eric says, I love watching Suns games, but I will be relieved when it's over. Yeah, I think we're all just kind of at that point of our Suns fandom, of our Suns life right now. I will say I was at the Diamondbacks game yesterday, and there's a fan who was kind of sitting 2 rows ahead of me. This guy was drunk and loud. And then he was talking to people around him, about just how shitty it is being an Arizona sports fan. And he's going through, different teams. He's talking about the Diamondbacks, and I'm wearing all my Dodgers gear. Mind you, the champs are here. And then he talks about the Cardinals. He made a good point about the Cardinals. He's like, the Cardinals, man, they're good one season, they suck for 10. They're good for 1, they suck for 10. I'm like, dude, okay, this guy, he knows what he's talking about. And then he started talking to this guy about the Suns. He's like, the Suns, man, the Suns are never consistently good. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, man, like, when's the last time they were consistently good? I was like, well, what's your definition of consistency? He's like, I don't know, like 3 years. I was like, dude, practically their entire fucking existence, man. Like we had one 10-year spout that sucked, but outside of that, and him and I started going back and forth, and it was just like, it was a good, he kind of gave me this look. So I'm wearing Dodger gear. I'm like, dude, listen, respectfully, I have a PhD in Suns. It's kind of fun. Eddie E, Jamstar is you. Jamstar is you, Eddie E, for being an elite Jamster and just showing up every night and hanging out with me, man. I truly appreciate everybody who watches the show, everyone who listens to the show, everyone who reads my writing at Brightside. I put a lot of time, love, and energy into what I do over there, and I love doing it. I love doing it. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be doing this. I'm blessed to have the time. I'm blessed to have the support of my family and friends to just write what I think about this team and to have people who actually want to read it and enjoy reading it. So I appreciate you guys. You guys are the Jamstars tonight. Up next for the Phoenix Suns, we're going to be playing back at home, Houston Rockets on Sunday night, 6 p.m. What are we thinking, Jamsters? What do we think of the Houston Rockets? All right, so Houston is a team that is currently the second seed in the Western Conference. Houston is a team that we have played not till the back end of the season. I mean, we didn't play them for the majority of the beginning of the season, but we've played them twice now. We lost in February, right before the All-Star break, 119-111. We played them about 3 weeks ago almost, 111-104. We lost that one. I mean, if I'm a betting man, which I am, Jalen Green. Like Jalen Green, if they give you the option for like Jalen Green over 25 points, I say take that all day. Why? Because he's exactly what the Suns can't stop. We have gotten better at point attack defense. We've got better at communicating on defense, period. Recently. Now, obviously, what Boston did to us and what Minnesota did to us tonight, I feel was, well, Boston, we played poor defense because we couldn't stop them. Nobody could stop them. And everyone just like, this team was known for hitting threes, and we're like, don't guard the perimeter, guys. They'll just start missing. And they missed for a little bit, and we got back in the game. And then they're like, okay, we're not missing anymore, and that game was over. But then you look at Minnesota, their defensive imposition is what hurt us. Houston, our point of attack defense, if they're attacking Book, which they will with Jalen Green, the guy's going to score a ton of points. We're going to lose that game. So, Seth Logan, is this the game where we lose Book or Durant to injury? Potentially. 20-pound Malagonker. Matthew, your leader Booker is shitting all over the floor. Matthew's not here tonight, okay? I'm here. Just trying to keep it real, guys. With all that being said, we'll see you on Sunday night. We'll see where we are in the standings at that time, because I'm sure that Dallas, who's the team that we're trailing right now, believe it or not, Dallas, who's had every possible bad thing happen to them, they play tomorrow at Chicago. They just got Anthony Davis back, and for what that's worth, I don't know, but that's also a team that we are now a full game behind, and we'll be watching their performance with bated breath. But until then, go home and love your family.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.